Hey YouTube, I'm here this time with my wax empties for the months of January, February, and a little bit into March. This year, I don't know what the deal is, but I've really been sleeping on my wax and beauty empties, so I'm just jumping on today to just kind of knock them out because I've got a ton of candles and a ton of beauty stuff that's just been hanging around and I'm ready to have it be gone. So this is my wax empties again for basically so far this year. So January, February, and then about the first week of March. I have started a, I guess kind of like wax melting basket, I guess, for the month of March. Some things that are in there will be in these empties because I just don't want to hang on to them for pretty much a whole month. So yeah, but I'll link my melting basket down below if you're interested in seeing what I'm working through for March of this year. So I'm just gonna jump right in with my Yankee Candles and then yeah. So the first item that I used up is this Yankee Candle Blueberry Muffin. I purchased this quite a while ago. I mean, it's been less than a year for sure, but I feel like I've had this for several months and I used this up back in January. Now, this is a great fragrance. This to me is not exactly the same, but very reminiscent of Blueberry Maple Pancakes from Bath & Body Works. I think that Blueberry Maple Pancakes definitely has like a maple note to it, whereas this is kind of missing that. But it's still a great fragrance, and yeah, I'm really glad that I bought it, I guess, but when I was, when I was melting it, I had such a problem where I was not getting any scent, any throw whatsoever. And I know that people kind of complain that Yankee Candles tend to do that, but my Yankee Candles have done that while I burn them, but I can usually get something out of it, at least for a while I'm melting, but from that I got absolutely none. So I'm glad that like I got to experience the fragrance like a little bit from Cold Sniff, but yeah, I wasn't satisfied with the product itself, so I would ultimately not repurchase it because of that. So I attempted to return it or get an exchange or something like that, but I got a huge runaround from customer service at Yankee and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore. So yeah, that's just kind of moving into the no pile for repurchases, unfortunately. The next Yankee Candle that I used up is in Blueberry. It is one of the returning favorites, and I'm so glad that Blueberry is really making a comeback this year at Yankee. This to me is very nostalgic. My mom used to burn Blueberry a lot, especially during the fall, so I really love this scent. And yeah, I actually bought this from TJ Maxx for $14. It was a very lucky find, and I actually found a few of them, so I picked them up. So in the next coming months, you'll see more Blueberry from me. The performance was good. It lasted, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 days. And the strength, I guess, was not like how Bath & Body Works used to be, but it was nice and it was very present and it was there. So overall, I was satisfied with it and I will repurchase this and use it up more in the future. The next Yankee Candle that I used up is a Yankee Candle in Fresh Mint. This is also a returning favorite that's really making a comeback this year, and I'm really happy that it is. To me, it's not like, I don't know, like not like a mint treat, like not something I would eat as a dessert, but yeah, I really love this fragrance. It's very fresh, very invigorating, almost like a stick of gum more so than a dessert. And yeah, I think it's great. My husband hardly ever comments on candles, but he really enjoyed this one, so I'm glad that I picked up a few of them. We also got some comments from some guests that we've had lately that they really love that candle. So yeah, it was a good one. I bought 2 of them, so I've got 1 more that you'll see in an empties. I don't know, probably not in March, but sometime. The next item that I used up, I think I'll also pull some more Yankee stuff. So I took a chance on the Yankee scent plugs because I had, I don't know, maybe like some kind of coupon or some weird situation where I was able to try them out for cheap and just see if I liked them. So I picked up a pineapple scent plug-in and then several different little things of oil. So I picked up a Vineyard, and I thought this was okay. Vineyard I like because, I mean, I like the fragrance itself, but I think that Vineyard is one of the best Yankee scents in terms of performance. So yeah, I bought a couple of them, plugged it in. It was great for, I don't know, maybe a week tops, and then I could barely smell it unless I walked right past it. So am I totally mad at it? Nah, not really, but I'm not sure that after I finish up all the scent oils that I got that I'm really going to be pining to buy more. So for what it's worth, I was happy with it, and for what I paid for it, I was happy with it. But like I said, in the future, I don't know that I'm really going to like run out and buy a ton of them anymore. I currently have one in that is Bahama Breeze. I also chose this one because, again, I really like this scent, and I wanted to choose scents that I know typically perform well for me, and that's another one that does. So it's definitely like a tropical fruit medley, but I really enjoy it. Okay, so that is it for candles and oils from Yankee. I will also get into my candles from Bath & Body Works. So I used up a medium jar in peppermint marshmallow. I bought this at the very end of SAS, and I found it for 75% off. I decided to purchase it just because I had had such a problem with my 3 wicks, and so I wanted to try a medium and see if I was having the same kind of issues, and I was. I got absolutely 0 from this candle. So what I decided to do was actually pour out the wax because it was all like completely liquid by that point, and I was getting literally nothing from it the first day. And so I just decided to pop in some wax cubes and just kind of melt those in my crock, and 3 wax cubes did so much better than an entire medium jar from Bath & Body Works. And my wax cubes were, I think, Better Homes and Gardens. So yeah, I think that just kind of says something about Bath & Body Works right now. So would I repurchase this in the future? Like, definitely not in a medium jar, but like maybe in a 3 wick. We'll kind of see where my headspace is with Bath & Body Works later this year. But I think at this point we all know how I'm feeling about Bath & Body Works candles as of late. The next one that I used up is a Candle Day edition that I purchased back in December. This is in White Gardenia. The notes are classic white gardenia, sweet apple water, bamboo, white woods. I really love white gardenia. It's definitely not everyone's thing because it's so strong. It can be a little bit cloying as far as like a heavy floral goes, but I really enjoy it. So I can get down with florals, so like I like it and I would repurchase it, but yeah, I would only recommend it if you like florals. Otherwise, stay far away from this thing. How did it do? I thought it did okay. Definitely not what I expect from gardenia, but because gardenia can be really extreme and intense, this was really toned down. I'd say to maybe like a 4 or a 5 in strength. So it did okay. So it only lasted a couple of days. And again, I think that's very reminiscent to Bath & Body Works candles right now. But for what it's worth and what I paid for this, I think it actually did okay, but only because it's usually so incredibly strong. The next one I used up is another Bath & Body Works, and a lot of these will be Bath & Body Works, by the way. This is Pink Apple Punch. I purchased this at Candle Day? I think I purchased it at Candle Day. It was kind of like a random, you know, whatever. This was definitely a summer packaging from, what, maybe a year or 2 ago. And the key notes for this one are green apple, juicy honey crisp, pink melon punch. The keynotes for Pink Apple Punch have changed a little bit over the years, but this is the same exact fragrance that it always has been. I love Pink Apple Punch. I know that some people don't because they find it kind of synthetic, and I get that, but I personally enjoy it. So I was happy to use this up. It lasted like an okay amount. The manufacturing date, yeah, it was manufactured in the summer of 2019. So yeah, it was all right, but yeah, still not like Bath & Body Works used to be. Would I repurchase it ultimately though? Yeah, but with a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. Okay, the next one I used up is another Candle Day candle. I think almost all of these are from Candle Day. In Georgia Peach, one of my favorites and one of the ones that I get at least a couple of every year. This is Juicy Peaches Dew Covered Leaves Hint of Vanilla. I really enjoy it. I think that Georgia Peach is a great scent. I will continue to purchase it. This was really light, lasted only about 3 days or so, but I decided to just kind of like let it go and let it do its thing, and yeah, so it was okay for, you know, the couple of days or whatever, but again, I'm just not pining to buy a lot of Bath & Body Works right now, and it's so sad because I love these fragrances, but I don't know, I just can't deal with the performance lately, so. The next one that I used up is a watermelon lemonade. Purchased this at Candle Day. This is the new kind of spring. It's hard to see because of they're not big any wax in it. But this is like the spring ombre that they kind of came out with for this year. The keynotes are watermelon ice, sparkling water, and Meyer lemon. I decided to pick this up because I knew that the candles just weren't doing especially well, and watermelon lemonade tends to be really intense. So I decided to try it out, and yeah, it was okay for a couple days. Definitely puttered out pretty quickly, but I decided that watermelon lemonade still is just too cloying for me. It's generally not my thing, and I think now I know why. So it's just a little too intense. It's one of those fragrances that I feel like kind of gets in your mouth a little bit, if that makes sense. So yeah, would I repurchase it? No. The next one I used up is another floral from Candle Day. This is in Fresh Cut Lilacs, another one that I buy every single year. The keynotes are lilac bouquets, dewy green, soft spring air. Same kind of thing. It was great for a couple days and just really petered out, and that was the end. Again, I want to continue to have faith in Bath & Body Works, but right now my faith is running out a little bit. So would I repurchase it this year? Maybe, but like in subsequent years, I think I would be willing to go back and give it a try, and then just kind of go from there. So yeah, but kind of like the gardenia, you gotta be down florals to like lilac or fresh cut lilacs. I think this one is definitely less intense than gardenia, but still, it's still incredibly floral. The next one that I used up is my mahogany teakwood candle. The keynotes are rich mahogany, black teakwood, dark oak, and frosted lavender. I really enjoy mahogany teakwood. It's not something I can have all the time and be happy with, but 1 or 2 a year I can really get down with it. I decided to use this up in February because I was kind of doing like a florals and perfumes and colognes kind of thing for Valentine's Day. And yeah, it was really nice around that time. I tend to use this up around February for that reason. So would I purchase it again soon? Probably not, but like later this year, I can see myself doing that. The next one that I used up is my most recent candle. It is the Passion Fruit Vanilla Cupcake. The keynotes are fresh passion fruit, fluffy vanilla cake, and white chocolate truffle. When I first got this, it to me smelled just kind of like a bakery pineapple. I enjoy pineapple fragrances from Bath & Body Works, so I decided to pick one up. I got this when I decided to exchange some of my Bath & Body Works candles from the Candle Day. As you guys know, like, you know, I've had that whole beef lately with them. So what I did was I separated the candles I'm willing to just kind of like take a chance on and let go from the candles that I'm just like definitely sending back. So I've got like a crate of totally unused winter candles that like periodically I've been going back and exchanging. So I don't know, maybe I'll get a dislike for that, but it is what it is, you know. If you don't want me to exchange products, then give me a good product in the first place. So yeah, I exchanged it for one of these because I'd been eyeing it and I knew that I would want one. Again, in the beginning it just smelled kind of like a bakery pineapple, which was nice. And I thought the performance was okay. It lasted like maybe 4 or 5 days. It was nice for a day or two and then got kind of weak. So yeah, but this honestly turned out to be kind of a boring fragrance, which is too bad because this one was the one I was most excited for. But yeah, something about it was just a little bit bland to me, and I don't feel like I really need to buy more to be happy. So I think this was unfortunately just a one and done, but I am glad that I tried it. The next one that I used up is an old-ish summer Boardwalk. This was, let's see, it's 2019 on the 125th day. So yeah, it was produced for the summer. The keynotes are caramel glazed popcorn, warm taffy apples, and salty sweet cream. We all know summer Boardwalk. Just a great kind of like carnival-esque type of fragrance. I use this up when my husband's out of town because he doesn't like it. To him, it's just too heavy, too cloying. But because Bath & Body Works candles have been kind of weak lately, I've been enjoying summer Boardwalk because it's just a lighter version than what it typically is. So yeah, I enjoy it. I will repurchase it probably this summer if it comes back. The next one that I used up is a winter candle. This is Sugared Snickerdoodle. The key notes are warm spices, creamy vanilla, sugared musk. And yeah, I like it. It smells very much so like a snickerdoodle to me. There's something that's very buttery about it that makes it feel a little authentic. And so while the performance wasn't good, I am willing to take a chance on this come fall and winter and see if I can get some better performance next year, or this year, I guess. The next one that I have, and there's a ton of these as you can see, is a pineapple mango. Bought this at the Candle Day. I always get a couple of pineapple mangoes because my husband really likes it and so do I. It is fresh pineapple, juicy mango, vine ripened raspberry. And yeah, it was nice, just like every other candle I bought from Candle Day. You know, there's just not much to say about it except for it's a great fragrance, but I just wasn't feeling the performance of it. So yeah, again, I just decided to let it go. It was okay for about 3 days. So after that point, I just kind of like let it be what it is. But yeah, was I especially happy with it? Not really, but it is what it is for right now. The last Bath & Body Works candle that I used up is this Land of Sweets Blueberry Sugar. It had this really pretty kind of dark blue wax. The keynotes are sweet blueberries, brown sugar, graham cracker crust. I don't get any brown sugar or graham cracker from it. To me, it just smells like a blueberry hard candy, which is nice. It's not my favorite. It's not like this is something I really want to hoard, but for the winter time, I really enjoy it. So again, weak, wasn't especially happy with it, but because it lasted more than 3 days, I just let it go. It was very weak by that point, but I could still smell it technically, so. The last candle that I used up was something that I purchased at, I think I purchased this at Marshall's. I don't know, it was something like that. This is the Nicole Miller Wild Rose. And really what I did was I realized when I brought this home that it's actually a little bit too, it's like marginally too wide for my my candle crock. So what I had to do was freeze the wax, pop it out, and then make chunks out of it. And I finally finished up all of the chunks. So I actually melted this. I really enjoyed this. So my husband thought it was like the most horrifying thing he's ever smelled before. But that's because number one, he hates florals. Number two, he hates kind of like earthy fragrances. This to me smells kind of like fresh cut roses from Yankee, in that there's definitely the rose here, but it's also very green. Like you kind of have to get down with like that kind of vine smell, if you will, or the smell of stems. For that reason, it kind of reminded me a little bit of tomato vine. Like if you can imagine like a scent that was a rose bush and it had that really heavy like green scent to it, in the same way that tomato vine had that really heavy green scent to it, I think you would enjoy it. So I don't know if you'll be able to find this, but if you love tomato vine, again, it's definitely not the same fragrance, but it's very reminiscent, I thought, of tomato vine for that reason. So that is it for all my candles. I still got more. I've got wax melts. I guess this is what I get for sleeping on wax empties for like ever. But yeah, I'll try to get through this quickly so that we can be out of here. Okay, so in terms of Walmart wax, I used up 2 Sensationals. One of them is in Autumn Air. This was in my March melting basket. I used it up pretty quickly, so again, I just didn't want to hang on to it. I thought this was a really cool image, and really that's why I was drawn to it. It says it's sweater weather. This to me is like a very clean, but not like laundry, a very clean, nice linen fragrance. So I, you know, don't get anything necessarily like woodsy about it. It's just very clean to me. I don't like laundry, so trust me when I say this does not smell like detergent. But yeah, it to me smells like very clean clothes. And I really enjoyed it. If it came out next year, or I guess this coming year, then I totally would repurchase it. I would actually repurchase this a couple of times, so maybe buy like 2 or 3. But yeah, it was really awesome. I hope that it comes out this year. The next Sensationals item that I used up is one that I've used up several times. This is in Tiptoed Tulips, and it just smells like a really lovely tulip fragrance. So yeah, it's really great. Again, you have to like florals to like this, but I really love when this comes out, and I always pick up a couple of them. So I don't know that I've seen any in my Walmart lately, but if I do, I'll purchase some more. And it's a really pretty yellow wax, by the way. The last one that I used up in terms of Walmart wax was also in my March wax basket or melting basket. This is from the fall. It is in Peach Blueberry Crisp. I don't get any peach from this, but I definitely get like the blueberry crisp vibe. There's definitely a blueberry. There's definitely a bakery to it. This is, I think, a repackage of the blueberry bundt cake that they have come out with in the past. It's the exact same to me, and I'm happy with it. I will continue to purchase this. It's a really pretty dark blue wax. And yeah, I was very happy with it and it did well in my warmers. Okay, so the last little bits I have are a little bit of vendor wax and also some Yankee melting. I've done a lot of melting in the last couple of weeks or so, so I'm just going to get into that. And let me sort I've got like a ton of stuff right here. So I'll just grab and go. So the first one that I used up is a votive in Yankee Mountain Lodge. I've got a couple of these in my March melting basket and I decided to pick some up because they're really cheap. I think I bought them for maybe like 50 cents or $1. I've been wanting to try out Mountain Lodge for a while and just kind of haven't pulled the trigger, so I decided to just finally do that. It was a nice kind of cologne fragrance. Do I feel like I need to repurchase it a ton? No, but I could see myself repurchasing it maybe from time to time in the future. The next one that I used up is one that I used up actually just a few days ago. Also in my March melting basket, this is Yankee Candle Votive in Mistletoe. So what I do is I unwrap it and I actually take a knife. Like I have a knife that I specifically use for chopping wax. And so I'll take a knife and like pop out the metal clip, I guess, at the bottom of the votive. And I will very carefully pop that out and it will take the wick with it. And then I just put this into a warmer and then I just melt it. So that's how I use up these votives. I definitely get fragrance from them. They do well in my melters when I do that, so I will continue to do that. But yeah, mistletoe, it just kind of smelled like a little bit balsamy, not quite the same as fresh balsam from Bath & Body Works, but kind of reminiscent of it. I enjoyed it and I would repurchase it this year again. The next one that I used up is one that I am actually using up today. It is my last Yankee Buttercream. Same kind of thing. I popped out the clip at the bottom, popped out the wick, and just put it in the warmer. So I decided to use this up because it's a great fragrance on cold and I really enjoy it. But honestly, melting it, I get a whole lot of nothing. It to me smells like a vanilla Tootsie Roll. That is my favorite flavor of Tootsie Roll, by the way. I love the vanilla ones. And it smells good, but yeah, I just get no payoff from it. So I get payoff from a lot of Yankee stuff when I melt it, but this, I get a whole lot of nothing. So even though I like the fragrance on cold, I would not repurchase Buttercream. The next one that I used up is a votive in Cranberry Chutney, a great holiday fragrance. I probably use this up in January or so. Really enjoy it. It tends to stain my warmers because it's such a dark red color, but I enjoy the fragrance. So I just have to be very, I guess, diligent about cleaning out my warmers after this. So I would repurchase it, but not a ton of it. I also used up a Cherries on Snow. This smells just kind of like a maraschino cherry with a little bit of an icy note to it. It's kind of like cranberry chutney in that I like using it, but Cherries on Snow starts to smell, I think, a little medicinal like after a certain amount of time. So while I like it, it's not my favorite, so I'll repurchase some, but it's not something I would hoard. The next one that I used up is a pumpkin apple parfait. This was just kind of like a holdover from the fall. I decided to take a chance on it because even though I don't tend to like spicy stuff, I really liked that it has a definite apple note to it, a definite kind of vanilla bakery note to it, and I really enjoyed it. So I actually enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. I only bought 2 of them and I wish I had bought more. So in the fall, I'll probably be on the lookout for some more of those. The next one that I used up is, I guess, actually two votives in Vineyard. Again, one of my favorites from Yankee because not only do I like this sweet grape fragrance of it, but it actually, I think, is one of the best performing scents that Yankee does. So I will always repurchase Vineyard. It's one of my favorites. I would totally recommend it if you can get down with grape. The next one that I used up is another one of my favorites. It is Red Raspberry, a very nice kind of sweet raspberry candy type of fragrance. I will always repurchase this. It's always a good one. And it's a really fun kind of like pinky red color. The last votive that I used up is this strawberry lemon ice. It's always a good fragrance. You know, it's kind of like Vineyard in the sense that I tend to pick it up because I like the fragrance, but also it tends to perform really well. So I think that it definitely is reminiscent of all 3 of those notes, the strawberry, the lemon, and there is something kind of icy and cooling about it. I don't like it as much as Vineyard, but I still do like it, so I will repurchase these more in the future. All right, so now I just need to go over some tarts that I've gone through. I went through 2 tarts in Summer Scoop. I found a couple of these in Kansas City just kind of randomly the last time I traveled there around New Year's. And I really love Summer Scoop. It is one of my favorites from Yankee. I think that there's definitely the berry aspect to it. I think there's definitely like a clear ice cream note, like an icy cream kind of note, I guess, if that makes sense. I don't know how to describe it, but it smells like berry ice cream and I just love it. So every time I see it, I definitely get my hands on it. I'm really glad to have had those. I also used up just recently a tart in lemon lavender. I've never tried this before, but I know it's been around for a while, so I just decided to take a chance. I'm really picky about lemon and also about lavender because I think that lavender can smell kind of soapy and lemon can smell kind of cleaner-esque. So I decided though to just take a chance because I've never tried it before. It was only $1, so like whatever. And I'm glad that I tried it, but I don't think I'll repurchase it. It just smelled a little bit too much like a cleaner, you know. I don't know, like I'm sure that there are a number of people who like this, especially if they like lemon or if they like lavender, but because I tend to be very picky about both of those notes, I don't think I'd repurchase it. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. The next item that I used up is another tart in Sun and Sand. Again, I picked this up when they were $1 and yeah, it just smells, I don't know how to describe it, just kind of like beachy, almost like a little bit soapy, but definitely like a sunscreen and a sand kind of vibe. It's not my favorite, but I do like it from time to time. I also picked up a tart in Juicy Watermelon, and I like it. It's a very intense fragrance. It's one of those ones that kind of like gets in your mouth a little bit if you've had it on too long, but it's a very intense, very fun, bright, juicy watermelon. So it's fun. It's not something I can have all the time just because it gets kind of cloying, but you know, from time to time, it's really nice. So I will repurchase it in the future, just not a ton. All right, very last thing. This video is like forever. This is crazy for a wax video for me, but I have 3, I think they're called mini melter bags. I don't know, whatever, from Rose Girls. I finally finished up, or I'm nearly finished with all of my vendor wax. So the first bag that I used up is Peaches and Cream. It just kind of smells like what it sounds like, you know, it's just peaches and cream. To me, it was a little like body care-esque, a little bit, tiny bit perfumey. So while I didn't hate it, I don't think that I would repurchase it, but I am glad that I tried it. I also used up a whipped cream, and I feel the same way about whipped cream as I do peaches and cream. So yeah, it smelled like Cool Whip, but also there's something kind of perfumey about it that I wasn't really driving with. So again, glad that I tried it, but I'm ready to move on. The last one that I used up, also from Rose Girls, is my favorite out of the order that I made. This is an Absolute Coffee. So I heard that it smelled to some people like Starbucks, and I like the smell of Starbucks. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I enjoy the smell of coffee. However, like I still liked it, but to me it didn't smell like Starbucks. To me it didn't smell like a black roasted coffee. To me it smelled almost like a hazelnut coffee. So it was nice. I'm glad that I tried it and I would repurchase it, but it wasn't really what I expected it to be. So I like to try vendor wax from time to time, but I feel like I'm constantly kind of like going back to retail because also I can just smell it in store and then decide right then and there if I want to purchase it or not. But you know, like I said, I'm glad that I am trying these things. I tend to be a little bit carpe diem with my wax melts. So if you like any particular vendor, or if you like any particular like fragrances from those vendors, please let me know down below. So I'm really interested in kind of expanding my horizon still with vendors. I just don't know that I found one that I'm just like totally in love with. So that is my wax empties, home fragrance empties for January, February, and the first week of March. It was totally crazy, but this was kind of a fun video too. So as always, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at yellowbrickexpat, same way it's spelled here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.